Welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Hewley, she didn't have a great day out at the office on qualifier number 1, but as we hit go, now is the time when those riders set off from the gun and getting into position. If you've watched the men's race already, you'll know exactly what you need to do on this. If you haven't, make sure you go back and watch it. So here on Sunday Race Club, we're riding in with Jojo Bauer, the women's race live here on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Led up here by Van Hewling in terms of the team, but overall it is going to be Marlon Biar have been chased here by Van Hewling, who has the front, but Van Hewling goes over the top here. We'll choose between any of these riders, and this is going to be another great finish here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, a women's race. We've got Bauer and Van Hewling battling it out at the front. One a little mistake, a slip gear as we come into the finish. Van Hewling's up to 9. Look at that, straight the way up. She just turned on the nitrox there. She's at 7.5 still. Bauer is coming at 7.5 as well. Van Hewling has the lead. 400 meters to go. This is going to be painful. They're side by side. Who has got the final kick? There's a dip and a rise. Who kicks first? Continues to push, and Bauer, I don't think, has an answer. Now she goes up to 9 watts per kilo. Bauer is coming over the top. Bauer is pushing. Bauer's going to take this. Van Hewling fades. Jojo Bauer takes race victory. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome. It's MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 3. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be putting words to all of the action and guiding you through today's racing here on MyWhoosh. We have just had an amazing men's race. Make sure you go back and watch the action. And our women's racing has been absolutely spectacular. And that finish last week that you've just seen, an absolutely fantastic finale to what was a really interesting race all the way through, with tactics unfolding. Going to be the same again today on a different course, which changes the makeup of the racing, because we are heading out and have a very different course for our riders, in that we have a very flat section, 400 meters to cover in terms of elevation, between 0 and 26.5 kilometers, and then the final climb is something else again, because we are going to take in 535 meters on the final climb. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds as we make our way through the course. We have some great teams out and racing as well here today, and going to be interesting to see who can take away the top spot across what is a very different layout. So we are going to see just who is going to take the top spot. Our category 1 riders are going to be headed up. We have some really strong teams in here. The team to beat, the Spartan Obstacles, well, they are missing 2 of their star riders. However, Fua, Quevedo and Brogan are going to be right up there. They were the top team in qualifier 1 and 2 for Spartan Obstacles. Our second team in qualifier number 2 was the Lupa team. Will Smithersby has got there. They've got strength in depth. Las Colombianas, well, they were the second team in qualifier number 1. Will they be able to mix it up? It's going to be very interesting to see just how that plays out. Don't forget, of course, that the riders in category 1 are fighting out for position. We have some individual riders, people like Marlene Biarhead, who took second in qualifier number 1, could be up and challenging. In category 2, a real mix of riders and some very, very strong riders in there, and strong teams. A massive battle between our second category teams, because we have teams who have qualified right up there with Team Cycle Zone, or ladies team number 1, along with the strong women in the top 5 in qualifier number 1 overall. Never mind being first and second in the second category teams. In qualifier number 2, we had 6 teams from category 2 qualify riders through. Will they be able to challenge once again? And in category number 3, which is our category where we would normally not see too many of the teams having straight through days. We've had amazing racing. Qualifier number 2 last week, a massive battle between the teams, and coming out on top with the Cycle Zone race team from the team of the Climbers Girls and the Ladies RC team. But don't discount Slam Bike Shop, who are back in the mix again this time around, and that is going to make a huge difference when we see them fighting it out. We're currently on the start line. We're watching Fiona Schroeder, and this is the go. So away they go. This is about getting that fast start, moving off from the race line quickly. Schroeder needs to get into the mix. Fiona Schroeder, one of our regular racers, and out and racing, of course, for her squad. Once again, we're going to see if Schroeder can mix it up at the front of the race for the Strong Girl squad. They only have 2 riders in the mix, as Musas Al Mansouri goes very strongly off from the gun. You can see at the moment this group has not broken up. So our Category 1 riders in the gold jerseys, Category 2 riders in the green jerseys, Category 3 riders in the blue jerseys. Getting that start right is critical. Jenny Town, experienced rider, one of the regular racers. Town with some really strong teammates in Angel, Anna Hadlock, and Novelin Kekkonen. Could be looking forward to see what happens at the finish. And let's see who is going to be able to take this out. I think we are going to see a real interesting battle between these riders as they make their way out. Of course, with Kekkonen already up into the mix, sitting in 6th position, and really interesting to see that we have a number of first category riders riding further back down the race field. Looks like Fiona Schroeder with a little bit of an issue getting out from the start gate, so Fiona needing to pick up the pace and recover from that. It looks like Faye Faber as well, also struggling out from the gate. The 2 riders there riding for the Strong Girls squad, the team who were at 3rd position in qualifier 2 and qualifier number 1 at the moment. I think the riders just having to push on. I know that they are going to be looking to qualify for that final next week, but you can see at the moment Schroeder giving away. It's only a few hundred meters at the moment, but that time will tick and open up. The left hand side of your screen, that is our leading group. So we can just see a Novelin Kekkonen, who we're following on the left-hand screen, one of a mass of riders in the lead group at the moment. And of our race starters, remember this is qualifier number 3, so this is where the riders are wanting to get in. Some of them their second qualifying race, some people are just looking to get in a better performance as they come through this time. Remember, our segments will be kicking in as well on the way through, where we're going to be able to see who is where. And just watching Faye Faber, so a number of riders not getting a great start. So Faber now on the right-hand side at the moment of your screen, just pushing on at the moment, just going onto the wheels of Schroeder here. And these 2 riders are going to have to do some serious catching up, but they've got the firepower. We know they're absolutely class athletes. Fiona Schroeder, Faye Faber, we know that they are going to be able to push on and really get right up into the mix. We've got a great race out of this. Our 3 categories going to be really interesting to see how they manage to take this out. So let's see how they get on as the race unfolds. We're looking forward to what is coming up. And don't forget, of course, of those segments that are going to be coming your way. The first segment kicking in at 3 kilometers of this course. So let's see how the riders continue on. So Sanchez up at the front, and loving the volume of second category riders up in with the riders at the front. So let's see who's going to lead this out. Is anybody going to be able to really break this up on the front of the group here as they continue to push on? Gilson right in the mix now. Don't discount Gilson from this. Rebecca Gilson, one of our individual riders who has been up and battling. I think Gilson could be a real dark horse here. second qualifier. She was third place overall. But Lubna El Halwani is a quick rider as well. Another of our quick, fast starters who has been staying with the leading group for longer and longer and longer. So let's see how that pans out. So our riders continuing to push here as we make our way up the climbs. You can see those gradients tipping up and down. So left and right hand screens, both of them have a map in the top right hand corner, and you can see the gradient for both in the grey at the moment. Now into the first of our segments we come at 3 kilometers. And you can just see at the moment Madison Black up in the mix here. Good to see Madison battling away here already. The riders who are in and fighting, I think the Abu Dhabi squad have got some extra reinforcements in here today. Madison Black, Noof Al Haswani, as well as Lubna El Halwani, and we've got Heli Abashovin von Echt and Michelle Nagel in the mix. Now, they are the squad, the Abu Dhabi squad. They were the 6th team overall and the 2nd of our Category 2 teams last time round. If they can continue to put in this sort of performance, they are going to be really in the fight for the team competition. But at the moment, the rider going on the front is Gilson. She's looking to stretch this out. Gilson, 3rd last time out, going to want another good race here today. So Gilson leading the race out, taking it into this climb, and she's starting to break it up. If you look at the top right-hand side of your screen, you can see those white dots just starting to break up on the top corner of the screen. That is going to be telling, because Gilson now putting in a kick. She's looking to set the fastest time through segment number 1. Behind it, you can just see the chase is on, and this is an unfortunate start for Schroeder and Faber. And remember, riders they have different loads as well, looking to qualify, but a number of the riders will have been doing a heavy week of training this week, knowing that next week being a finals week, they're wanting to ease off the pressure. Gilson at the moment having gone clear, being chased here by Madison Black Angel and Hadlock, Madison Nevelin, Julia all chasing, but Rebecca Gilson's going to come through. She should set the fastest time through segment number 1. She is going to come in and through ahead of the rest of the riders. 1:45 for Gilson as she comes in through the line. So 1:45.99, 5 seconds faster than Fua, 5 seconds faster than Bogran, Fribourg, El Halawani, and Black. Interesting to see that the SZ2, the Swedish squad of Bogran, Fribourg, along with Johnson, looking like they are going to be really motoring. And got to say, a great weekend for the Swedish riders at the moment. Sweden having a fantastic weekend of cycling as well, because they had the mountain bike XCE World Cup there. I was looking to be putting the words to the action throughout all of the XCE eliminators. So you can catch up with that on the City Mountain Bike channel. And that is a great fast race format. That was over in Falun. They've also got some of the biggest races in the world. They've got mass start races, and they've been riding really strongly. And if these guys from Sweden can carry that momentum forward, we had Jenny Risfes up and battling with the best in the world at XE in the format she doesn't normally race. Looks like they're maybe taking some inspiration from that racing, because that Swedish squad really pushing on at the moment. So Julie Sanchez in with that lead group. Julie regularly our top second category rider. She was number 1 second category rider in qualifier number 1 and 2. She's had an 8th and a 6th place overall, and at the moment she's pushing in. So Sanchez, it is on the left-hand side of the screen. We're following Schroeder on the right-hand side of the screen. Schroeder in 44th position, just trying to close that gap down now. You can just see a real mix of riders. Carly Francis is a minute behind, so they're not the last riders on the course by any stretch of the imagination, but Schroeder and Faber are trying to chase down. They're at 3.9, nearly 4 kilometers as they hit the checkpoint. Sanchez at the moment with the leading riders, though, at 5.4 kilometers. So our leading group going through very, very quickly indeed. And just looking at the split times between them, I think we have about 17, if not 18 riders in this pack. And that is a big group to take in to the finish. Early days though. Just coming up for 10 minutes of racing, just coming up for the 6K marker. You can see the next segment marker just as they're coming in. So it's 6K, so it'll be 6 to 7 kilometer, the segment number 2. And remember, the times that we get for this are going to be the times just for that segment. So segment 2 coming in, as you can see, 6 to 7K. The one after that is a fair distance on, 10 to 11K. Our first 5 segments all 1 kilometer long. We then move on to our longer segments where we get an idea as the race progresses who is really on form and riding. But I have to say, great riding today, a real mix of riders. And our first category riders are definitely going to have a tough time. Good to see Andy Parra in this mix as well. Parra just tucked in there nicely. Bogran just getting the draft. You can see Bogran's numbers sitting in green, top left-hand side of your screen. And that means that she's there surfing the wheels. Novellin and Kokonan just trying to latch on to a wheel. There we go. Just picks up the green as well. That means that she's not having to work as hard as the riders in front. So Kokonan moves over the top of Catherine Fua. Fua, one of our real strong riders, a rider to watch out for. She's got to be fancying her chances for taking away the win. So Catherine Fua from Switzerland, looking to be the rider who takes this out. The Spartan Obstacle team have been the team to beat. Fua, Cafedo and Brogan, they're 3 riders here today. They are going to be looking to be our winners in the team competition and make it 3 out of 3. And that was send a really strong statement out to all the rest of the riders going into next week's prize money final. All these riders fine-tuning the form, learning the courses. They don't know where they're going to be heading week on week. The designers of the courses are looking to change, break it up, make sure that these riders are really tested. The more you ride on the e-cycling, just like any esports game, whether that is a e-Formula 1, whether it is an air simulation, whether it is something along a generally a shoot 'em up, it could be anything, literally any game. The more you use it, the better you will be at it. It's really simple. You don't just see the best golfer in the world just turn up, rock up, play the tournament, go home. You don't see the best cyclist in the world just turning up and riding. You don't see Chris Hoy just going out and smashing out to one of his Olympic wins. The hours and hours and the practice that goes in is key, and that is why it's key to jump onto the platform to ride it all the way through. So lots of our riders jumping on. Don't forget you can download that app on the MyWhoosh.com website. Don't forget you can follow, of course, MyWhoosh on social media. So that's on Instagram and Facebook at MyWhoosh. It is on Twitter at my_whoosh. Don't forget, of course, you can follow me, Matt Fixpain. You can catch up with what I'm going to be putting words to the action to next. Got a really busy summer program with lots of crit racing in the UK, as well as hopefully heading out to some of our mountain bike events. And of course, lots of esports as well on the way through with MyWhoosh every Sunday on the Sunday Race Club, bringing you all of the action. Don't forget, of course, you can follow me on Strava and on MyWhoosh as well, and regularly jumping onto the Whoosh's ride as well as battling the bots on the MyWhoosh platform. The pain cave set up in the back of the studio. Might as well make the most of all this phenomenally huge processing power, making sure that we can get all the words and all the images to you with a big team behind the scenes, and some great action so far. So big group leading out the race as we come in towards 8 kilometers. Hernandez just in here. Now, it is still yo-yoing up and down as they come through these segments. On the way through with Johnson, Parra, Bogran, Kokonan, Cavado, Fua, Moreno, Black, Hernandez, Gilson all in the mix, Freeburg, Moy, Julie Sanchez, Angelan Hadlock in there as well. Don't discount Luz Kimona. 15 riders, if my counting skills are to be believed, going through. And in fact, they went through the last of our checkpoints that they went through. at a pace that was some 11 seconds quicker than anybody else, and that shows you just how fast this leading pack is moving. Great to see so many Category 2 riders in the mix as well. Now, Sanna Freeborg doing a great ride here. Freeborg, who is in and riding for the Team S2 squad. And they were the team who were 9th in the second of our qualifiers last week overall. And they were the 5th team in Category 2. But Freeborg has Bogren as well as Jonsson up there. And this is going to make a difference. They could be right in with a chance of taking the overall win here. And it's going to depend on what the rest of the teams can do. Cavado and Brogan are going to be wanting to help Fua. But just looking through the riders on course at the moment, I think it's not going to be the case. And this is going to leave the door open here. So it looks to me like our regular top teams, not necessarily sending out all their riders. A number of the riders will be resting. We did mention it earlier. Riders will be different stages of their training. They might have done a hard sprint session. They might have done a hard training session. They know that the prime race to be at top form for is the prize money race. It's no good winning all the qualifiers and then coming nowhere in the prize money race. The end of each month, our Sunday Race Club prize money race is the one that everybody wants to win some big prizes on it. Don't forget, you can get all of the details of the events, MyWhoosh.com. Click on to events. You'll see we've also got our Tune Up Tuesday races there as well. So go onto the website, go on the menu at the top. Tune Up Tuesday has got lots. So don't forget, you can jump on a MyBunch ride. You can go into a Battle of the Bot ride. There's lots of social rides on there. The MyWhoosh HQ racing. And that's generally a couple of races each day. And that is going out in Gulf Standard Time at 7:45. And going to be real great racing on there. Don't forget, of course, Sunday Race Club coming your way all the way through the year as well. And of course, all of those events available. You can log on, and the more you ride, the better you're going to find that you are able to race it. It's like anything, knowing where to push, where to put the hammer down, where to make everybody suffer is key. Gilson again going on the attack here. Gilson is absolutely indefatigable at the moment. She is absolutely motoring, and I have to say, showing that she is feeling particularly strong today. Going to be really interesting to see who can respond to this. We're just riding in with Fua and just see that Fua just squeezing up onto the front, but Novelin Kokkonen knows that maybe today could be the day she's going to push on. She was a rider who has excelled, particularly when we go climbs like the Jebel Hafit. She's a rider who has been able to push her way up into the mix and really challenge the riders in that first category racing. So will it be a Novelin Kokkonen, or will it be one of our other second category riders, maybe Julie Sanchez, who's regularly up there and fighting, who can take on the likes of Gilson and the rest of the first category riders? But Gilson showing she's fast. Look at that time, 1 minute 21.825. Let's have a look at those results. So Gilson leading them through. And at the moment, those riders are absolutely flying. It looks to me like they are really starting to put the pressure on the riders behind. There's 15 riders originally in that group. We're now down to 14 with Angel and Hadlock being distanced off the group. But Gilson, Black and Freeborg right up there. And if you look at for those Swedish jerseys, you can see Freeborg, Johnson and Bogren right up in the mix now. Cavado and Fua are there for the Spartan obstacles, but I don't think they're going to have enough qualifying riders, and that is going to make a big difference as they go through. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens further back, because those riders that are in the other teams are going to know that they can be in the mix. You can get all of those team results on the website, mywhoosh.com. And don't forget, of course, all of the results come in three formats. We have the live results that you'll see as the race progresses. You can then see as they cross the line, those results are unofficial, so they have to be verified. Now, if you are riding on a track or on the road or an eliminator where you're wiping everybody out, or a full cross, then that is subject to the commissaires checking it, the race referees. And esports, that is not just commissaires, but it's the whole team in the background. So there'll be AI checking the power, the accuracy of the data that's been received, and so on, all the way through, making sure that the riders' results are accurate. And of course, once that's all been done, then that becomes a official result or verified result, and that then means that that result stands. And it could be all sorts of reasons. It could be that the temperature changes. It could be that you just had COVID, you've had a bad time. All your previous rides have been post illness. It may be that you were injured, you've crashed your bike. That's usually my excuse, stroke reason. And you're on the way back from doing that. It could be that you've just managed to really get the training dialed. It might be that you just clicked and you're just riding really strong. You're focused on a MyWhoosh races as being your season's target. So it is really, really important these guys are checked. So when we get to those results, make sure you jump on there, have a look, see what these riders are putting out. You get all sorts of data from the time, watts per kilo, the average what's their average heart rate, what their watts per kilo is per minute, 20 minutes, right the way through to 5 seconds times. And it gives you a real good indicator of just who was strong and where, who's good at sprinting, who's good at those longer efforts. It also tells you a little bit about our riders' physiology and just how fast they can go in which segments. Interesting to see our second category riders at the moment right up there and handing it out in some cases to the first category riders in group number one. Group number one currently at 13.1 kilometers on the left of your screen. You can see we've got our third category riders pushing on, and a real mix of those are currently sitting at 11.9. We're just in with Maria Jose Zabala. So Zabala at the moment has got Maya on her back. We're just pushing in and through there. Nagel in the mix as well. Good group here. And they look to be working really well together. So just in with Maria Jose Zabala. So Maria in the blue of our third category riders. Remember, all of the categories are dynamic. They are designed to give everybody a great race and somebody to race against, whether you're coming back from injury or whether you are currently the fastest rider in the world. Used by the UAE teams. And don't forget, of course, on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel, you can catch up with some great insights with the men's and women's UAE teams. The jerseys also available to ride in on MyWhoosh as well. So if you want your avatar to wear that jersey, you can pick it up on the MyWhoosh store. Put it on your avatar and ride in that UAE team jersey. And knowing some of the riders in the men's and in the women's teams, riders that are very, very quick indeed. Some really talented riders in there and some very fast riders. It's been great watching them all the way through the season, getting better and better, and the results always coming, which is great to see in both the men's and women's teams. Don't forget, you can catch up with them on that YouTube channel. You can follow them on Instagram as well. Now, our leaders are about to come and hit 14 kilometers. That will take them into our next segment. And at 14K, it's going to be segment number 4. So as you can see, the riders already are motoring the way through. Segment 4 comes at 14K of 35 kilometers in total. The first 26 expected to rattle through very quickly. Then we are into our final climb, our 8.5K of climb into the finish, and the last segment of those, the last two are 5K, but the very last segment running from 28 to 33 kilometers, and that will test our riders' climbing ability. Now, Fiona Schroeder, good to check back in with Fiona and Faye Faber, a 2-up team time trial for these two on the right-hand side, coming up into the main screen here. So Fiona Schroeder and Faye Faber, two really strong riders. Now, both riders who we know are capable of being up in the mix for the win. I think bad start on the way out. Quick recovery is key. That's what they've done. They now have that wonderful task that they can basically chase the riders down. Some of the riders certainly appreciate having a carrot in front to chase and to be able to try and close it down rider after rider. It's definitely very interesting. It keeps it very motivational. You just chase the next rider. Where's my next target? A few seconds up in front. Race leaders, well, they're coming to the end of the segment. This hits at 15 kilometers in. Who's going to set the fastest time through? Interesting to see that we now have 3 second category riders on the front, and then Gilson comes through over the top. I think Gilson is wanting to take a clean sweep on the way through of times as you come through. Puts another big sprint in there, reminding them that they still have first category riders in there. So Gilson, 1:34, and this group of 13 riders going through just now, distancing Catherine Fua. So interesting to see Fua is off the back of the group. So 13 riders in the group, Fua being distanced. Gilson, Black, and Moy, the 1, 2, 3. Now, the SZ2 squad there, the Swedish squad, well represented. Strong women's team with 2 in their team fitness 10, with a rider in there as well. But the riders are in 1s and 2s. And I think that means that we are going to see a very, very fractured chase if anybody goes away. It also means that nobody's really got that strength in depth other than the SZ2 squad to see whether they can put the chase down if somebody like Gilson was to go clear. So of the leading group of riders, our first category riders, well, they are Karuk Quevedo, the Spartan Obstacles squad. We've got Liliana Moreno of Las Colombianas, and we've got Rebecca Gilson. And Gilson running as an individual rider. They are the 3, I'll say that again, 3 first category riders in with our leading group of riders. Our first category riders having a tough time today, and only 3 of them making that leading group. And this means our second category riders could be sniffing the thinking, oh, today could be my day. Is today going to be the day I'm going to take victory here today? I don't know how I'm going to go against these riders. They've got strong riders. Karuk Quevedo has been right up there for the Spartan Obstacles. She was 4th last week. She has got to be feeling strong. She's got to be thinking today could be the day. She's got Gilson, the rider who was just in front of her last time at the top of the mountains. Quevedo at the moment, though, 138 beats per minute. Look at that, looking very smooth, 95 revs a minute. So smooth is about keeping the revs consistent, not yo-yoing about. Gilson at the moment, though, is putting another dig in on the front. She's not happy with it sitting at 3 to 4 watts per kilo. She wants it to go quicker. She's putting in another dig here. So Gilson has gone clear. Now, I'm not sure that if I was Quevedo, I wouldn't be thinking, right, let's get with Gilson. Let's go and let's go clear. Let's see if we can put some distance in, because 1 out of 3, if we took all the 3 first category riders up the road as Liliana Moreno moves up onto the shoulders of Quevedo, that would be a good move if I was one of those riders. 1 in 3 is better odds than 1 in what is currently 13 riders, because that is the difference. Maya and Oliviera, Nagel and Tan are working very well behind. Our firstest category rider, I think, was Maya, going through in the category 3, and they're putting in times that is equal to all but the leading group now. So the riders behind really have settled into a pace. The front of the group going clear currently is Gilson, Hernandez and Sanchez. The chase is on left-hand side of your screen. You're riding with Karuk Quevedo on the left, Gilson on the right. You can see Gilson out the saddle. The chasers, though, not panicking here as we see Quevedo. She can just see Moreno in front. She won't want to give Moreno too much ground, because if she does get to Gilson, that could leave them in trouble. Gilson at the moment trying to go for a long ride here, trying to do as it's known as Sammy Stewart, which is to go clear, breakaway, and try and take a clear solo win. Sammy Stewart, the firefighter from the UK, who also is notorious for doing the same on esports as she did in the Women's Tour of Britain and on the Tour Series. has got some serious firepower, serious strength, and has got the strength and fortitude to stay clear. Will that be the case today? Well, going to be a big ask. Now, you can just see two groups on the road. They're not separated by much. It's going to be about 80 meters between the two sets of riders. Our leaders, Gilson, Hernandez, and Sanchez. So, Julie Sanchez, regularly our fastest second category rider, regularly the rider who is right up in the mix with the riders in the first category racing. So Julie Sanchez for the strong women's team. She was first of our second category riders in both our previous qualifiers. In qualifier number 1, she was 6th overall. She was 8th overall in qualifier number 2. She'll be wanting to repeat that again. She's on the right of your screen. Karut Quevedo wanting to push on, but Quevedo knows that she has her work cut out. She was 4th in qualifier number 2. She needs to qualify today and get a verified result to go in to those finals. So the pressure is on Quevedo a little bit here. Add in riders like Novellin, Moya, Kimona in there, the riders like Julie Sanchez. So that could definitely mix things up. But at the moment, the leaders off the bridge and onto the climb, the chasers are behind. So are we going to see a concerted break? Natalie Hernandez, Julie Sanchez, and Rebecca Gilson with 14 seconds. 14 seconds back as they come in. Now, Gilson just laid off a little bit there, just picks up the pace as they come in to the steeper section of the climb. Behind it, Quevedo and Co can see them. The gap, though, it's substantial. It's going to be sitting at about 15 seconds at the moment, and that is a big ask to pull that gap back down again. Now, have they got the power to go? Sanchez, Hernandez, and Gilson are our riders who are pushing on at the moment. So Natalie Hernandez and Julie Sanchez, teammates on that strong women's team. Will they be able to stay with Gilson? Gilson now starts to put the pressure on, really kicks it up over the top. She gets the timing right on these climbs, absolutely spot on. Puts the last big dig in, just going over the top, but really winds it up. She'll be increasing the gap to the group behind. She won't want to sacrifice the two riders with her. And certainly Sanchez and Hernandez could help her. There's a long way to go. We're at 18 kilometers of racing done so far. So going over the halfway marker as we come in and through the checkpoint to start at 18 kilometers. So we're on to segment number 5, the last of our 1 kilometer segments. And this will take us from 18 to 19 kilometers. And you can see our leading riders are now starting to really stretch the gap out. And this could be giving away the top 3 positions overall if they continue to let them go. Here we go. Let's get an idea of that time, of where that time segment is. It is 14 to 15K. We're on segment number 4, segment number 5, our final segment coming through. And then we are into segment 6 and 7. Now, they are both 5K segments, so 21.5 to 26.5. That's the last long segment before we hit the mountains. But this course definitely not flat by any stretch of the imagination at the moment. So Hernandez, Sanchez, and Gilson, the leading 3 riders coming around again to his left hand. So it sweeps around and it kicks again. In fact, there's plenty more climbing to come as they come around this turn. Now, Karut Quevedo in the chasing group on your left-hand side of your screen. That gap is about 300 meters between the 2 sets of riders. Now, we're going to get a good idea of just how fast they're going in through the checkpoint they go. This is really interesting stuff now because the leaders have gone through 1 minute 30 for that checkpoint. We're still waiting for the chasers to get there. You can see that segment time just popping up with our 3 leaders on there. These are the chasers. They've got to close this gap down. They're going to see that time gap has gone out. They come through and you can see how much time they have lost. That is incredible. So on that section going through, the chase is on. You can see that Sanchez, Gilson, and Hernandez are down in the bottom of that segment time. The fastest time has come from Madison Black with Kimona, Moy, Quevedo behind. The chasers are trying to bring the gap down. But the work that they're doing has to pull back 3 leaders who had opened up over half a minute on the rest of the riders. And that is a big ask at this stage as we come through. We're over half race distance covered. So great riding by Madison Black from the Abu Dhabi squad. Lutz Kimona and Tracy Moy, they are the riders leading the chase behind our 3 leaders. Quevedo, Johnson, Parra, Kekkonen, Hernandez, all doing good times, but nobody really matching that time of Madison Black and Lutz Kimona. Everybody else over a second behind of Madison Black's time. So as the race continues, Madison Black tucks in here, the rider who took the fastest time through that segment. Second category rider racing up and handing it out to the first category riders in there. They've got to feel a bit outnumbered in those yellow jerseys. Normally you would see the group but well clear. They are chasing the riders on the right of your screen. You can see the gap, the difference in the graphics between our leaders and second place at the moment. At the moment, Gilson are getting a little bit of a free ride here from Hernandez and Sanchez, the 2 teammates. And Gilson, they all need to work together here. They're at 22 seconds, and this gap, it could come down very, very quickly. Normally, if you were out on a road race, you would say a substantial gap is generally at 1 minute. That's the point at which, if you're in a road race, that the commissaires, the race referees, will start to allow in a neutral service, start to allow in race vehicles. And there's a reason for that. It's about getting the vehicles out. We don't have that issue when we're riding on an esports platform. So when we're on MyWhoosh, we don't go dropping in team cars. We've got interesting graphics to watch, but it has another reason that a minute is a substantial amount is because that is when things get very, very interesting and very hard to pull that gap back. Generally, the steam goes out of the chase at that point. Now, we are at 30 seconds. That could disappear real quick. And that means that Hernandez, Sanchez, and Gilson have got to continue to work. They want to put too much in there, but to get this right, they will be able to continue to open the gap behind. I'm not sure how many of our second category riders have been in this position, having to chase the race lead, being in a position where the race is at stake, but they've got to close down with virtually the rise just coming into the rocks between them. The both sets of riders about to come into the dip, separated by this little bit of a hump, and you can just see as the lead, it's Sanchez, Hernandez, and Gilson. Now Gilson is likely to push on as they get into the later sections of the climb. The gap between them, though, it's not established yet. I think this is very tenuous. You can just see the checkpoint at the top, and that is going to be our checkpoint at 21.5 kilometers, so about 400 meters to go for Sanchez to hit that. At that point, that's going to be the start of the last of the segments in the rolling hills before we go on to our final climb. So Julia Sanchez sits second wheel. Hernandez leads. Gilson starts to squeeze here, just up in the watts per kilo. But these 3 riders just working together. 20 seconds is the gap now. It's yo-yoing up and down slightly, but 20 seconds still sits at a third of a minute. Our riders are about to hit segment 6. The final segment in the first half of this course, in the rolling part of the course. Then they're going to be on to that final climb. And you can see the distance between these riders is coming down. Madison Black looking strong once again. Angie Parra, Novelin Kekkonen, these second category riders mixing it up with our first category riders. Interestingly, Julie Sanchez is looking like she's feeling very strong today in that leading group, but her teammates a bit further back aren't looking too bad either. And I've got to say, the riders in here working well. Tracy Moy riding strongly. Karuk Quevedo, wow, the first category rider is getting a lift with this group at the moment. Quevedo and Fua just looking like they're just trying to conserve as much energy as possible now as they come up through here. Just looking back from Natalie Hernandez leading this race out on the right-hand side of your screen. The chasers are on the left, but as we see a closer look here at Hernandez, that gap has opened right up. So they need to get back together again. They need to work together again. They need to get that drafting effect happening, because if they do that, the leaders can stay away. They might not stay away, they're still going to be hurting the riders. If you want to see how much you can make people hurt and how much damage you can do by putting in those attacks, make sure you watch today's men's race that was on earlier. Great example of why you should go on the offensive and really take the race to everybody else if you can. Great to watch. And as always, available on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel to play back again. Make sure you give it a like, give it a subscribe as well. Get notified when we go live. Myself, Matt Payne, going to be bringing words to the action right the way through our Sunday race clubs. Every now and then, not going to be about. And I got to say a big thank you to the guys who've jumped in and kept the seat warm for me whilst we've been out and about. I think our next one, I'm going to be missing one of our races in July. I'm going to be doing some work supporting some of our junior races here in the UK. So myself and Emma at Full Speed Events going to be looking after some of our riders at a festival of cycling and trying to make sure that we give some support to the youngsters coming up and through in the sport. And I think entries actually still open for some of those races up in Scarborough. Going to be a trip to the seaside. For those of you who don't know the UK, Scarborough is a traditional seaside resort, but it has a rather big hill and a motor racing circuit that our youngsters are going to be fighting the way up and around, and looking forward to seeing them in action on there, and a real mixed format of racing. So looking forward to that. That's going to be on the 10th of July. That's going to be the only one of our Sunday race clubs should be missing. And I'm looking forward to that. But of course, we have before that our finals next week here on Sunday Race Club, where our riders at the moment are trying to qualify. So at the moment, Madison Black tucked in with the main group of leaders on the left-hand side. 3 riders in a breakaway clear of that peloton. Gilson, Hernandez, and Sanchez. Now, this has not been the most cohesive of breakaways, with the riders yo-yoing around. Hernandez and Sanchez are both teammates, so they should, in theory, be working together. However, the undulating nature of this course is not making life easy for them. Adding to the mix, the talented rider is Rebecca Gilson. And all of a sudden, you can see why it is fracturing so much. And that is costing time. But the chase behind is not glued together either. It's not looking like one smooth team time trial behind either. Those riders again yo-yoing around. The 3 riders from the SZ2 team, you'd think that they would be able to control this, but they can't, because there is just such a volume of riders in there. We also have a lot of second category riders in there, so they are riders who power output was not enough to push them up into category 1, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of being there. It just means that we don't have the evidence to prove that they can be in there. And at the moment, those second category riders are doing an amazing job. I can see this is really going to be doing their confidence a lot of good, because this is great riding by our second category riders in the mix, in the fight, trying to chase down the leaders here. So the current race leader is Gilson. Second place is Hernandez. Third place is Sanchez. So category 1, Gilson. Category 2, Sanchez. Category 2, Hernandez, being chased by the chasers. Behind the gap at the moment is not substantial. It's only 20 or so seconds. Madison Black is the last rider in this gap. You've got Johnson, Cavedo, Para, Moy, and co. Madison Black has been setting the fastest time through those sprints, really been pushing on, trying to chase down these riders. We're just in with Hernandez and Sanchez. Looks like they've got it together here. And this is what they need to do. They need to work together. Hernandez leading at the moment. Sanchez sitting in the slipstream. They're chasing Gilson on the left-hand side of your screen, your race leader. Gilson has pushed on here. She doesn't want the gap to diminish. She doesn't want the group behind to close down on her. She knows she's got a big climb coming up. She's currently at 24.8 8K. This is a long segment. Remember, we are currently in the middle of segment 6, which runs from 21.6 to 26.5 kilometers. So right, pretty much slap bang in the middle of that, and making her way in through. While Gilson leading, Hernandez second, Sanchez in third place. Heart rate at the moment really interesting, almost identical between Hernandez and Gilson. Bit further back, the chasing group. Well, look at Quevedo, 132 beats per minute, 85 revs per minute. Now, not everybody has the same heart rate up at the top. Somebody I work very closely with, Russ Downing, who is with me working on things like the Donny Chain Gang and similar. We generally work well together, but our differences physiologically are massive, not least because he's a national champion multi times over, and I definitely a long way from that standard. But my heart rate go comfortably or uncomfortably up close to 200, even though I'm a fair few years older than him. Russ's heart rate doesn't go anything near as much. In fact, I know if Russ is sitting at about 155, 156 beats per minute, he's going to go pop. I can sit a lot higher than that, but he's able to put out so much more power for that. He's much quicker rider. In fact, he's 20 kilos lighter, probably helps as well. But the point being that the heart rate, not necessarily the same top heart rate, means that you've not necessarily got the same heart rate that you can sit at. Other riders, they might have a maximum heart rate of maybe 170 and can sit at 163. So Fiona Schroeder on the chase behind. Now, last time we saw Fiona, she was with Faye Faber, and they were sitting in about the 40-some positions, 44, 45. They're now up to 34, so great chase here by Fiona and by Faye. They've been working their way up through the two first category riders, mixed in here with some of our third and second category riders. They are trying to chase down the leader. You can see the distance difference here. Gilson leading 26.1k. Schroeder and Faber at 20.6. In between is a lot of climbing as well, because Gilson has already ascended 395 meters. He's only got another 5 meters or so of climbing to do to take it to the end of the area that is our undulating hills before she goes on to the big climb. She's currently at 26.4. She's 0.5 off hitting the 0.1 from hitting the end of this, and it's going to be 26.5 going to be the end of this segment. So here we go. She's going to come through. She's going to set the fastest time through here, I would have thought, unless the chasers behind have closed down. And this is where we get a good indication. Remember, Gilson had gone on the attack as it came in. She's at 8 minutes and 14 seconds, 14.9. Behind Sanchez and Hernandez, 8:27 and 8:28 respectively. They are losing time to the race leader on that segment. They're also losing times to the race leader overall. The gap between them nearly 40 seconds. Now, Quevedo and co are chasing. Quevedo in this group, one of our first category riders still left in this leading group. She's got to try and close them down. Gilson, the only first category rider in the top 3 at the moment. They have gone through. So an 8:14.9 the time for Gilson. Hernandez an 8. It's going to be an 8:29 behind, though. I think all of the riders losing time. They have indeed. So Novel and Kokona, the nearest rider to that time of Hernandez in 3rd place. So Kokona in 4th, Kimona in 5th, Black in 6th, Moy in 7th, Quevedo in 8th, Johnson in 9th, and Parra in 10th place. So 3 leaders, 7 chasers. And they're your top 10 that you can see, and they are the only riders to have gone through that segment. The rest of the riders are some margin back. Now Gilson starts to push in towards the final climb. Now this segment will take us right the way up and through. We hit segment 7 at 28k. You can just see Gilson really is pushing now. A little bit further back, we've got Novelin Kokkonen just looking to open this up. Angie Parra continues to chase behind. But I think Conan is on a charge now, because once we get onto this big climb, she knows that it is uphill all the way to the summit. This is going to be the conclusion. So with 48 minutes of racing done, we are 27k on the clock of the 35. 3 leaders broke clear: Gilson, Hernandez, and Sanchez. Hernandez and Sanchez, the 2 Category 2 teammates, now are chasing Gilson, the rider on the right of your screen, the Category 1 rider leading. She is our race leader, but Gilson is the rider to catch now. She's at 27.6 kilometers. The chasing pack are trying to close down Hernandez and Sanchez, who are sandwiched between our race leader and the chasing pack. So the jam in the middle of the sandwich is Hernandez and Sanchez. The riders are chasing, looking to snaffle them up. Well, we've got a big pack here, and I think Madison Black has been shown very strongly on the way through. Has she got the power to make this stick? Don't forget Karuk Quevedo in there for our first category riders. So the last of the Category 1 riders in that pack, with Gilson up in front behind Fua coming through, while she's well down behind in the 11th place position, and Catherine Fua not going to be challenging for a top 10 position today. So Gilson going to come up to the checkpoint. This will be our time check that runs through from 28 through to 33 kilometers. Absolutely critical to get this time fast, because if you can set a fast time here, you're going to set a fast time to the summit, which is a further 2k on. So Gilson leading. Hernandez and Sanchez are still together. The 2 riders you see on the right-hand side of your screen, they are continuing to go. Now Sanchez just pushes on a little bit more. They are 200 meters clear of the Quevedo group, who are chasing, but they are round this hairpin turn, and that makes a big difference. The leaders of the race are clear by enough distance to be out of sight. Gilson out of sight of Sanchez and Hernandez. Sanchez and Hernandez out of sight of Parrott and Co., who are on the chase now. We have a really different situation from many of our qualifiers, and definitely from our finals, with only 1 first category rider riding at the moment, away with a second first category rider surrounded by second cat. So our second first cat rider is Karuk Quevedo, but she is absolutely mobbed at the moment by second category riders, who are all looking to take away some big scalps here today, to take away a big win. So it's Gilson continuing to push at the front. Quevedo is coming into that segment, the final segment, segment 7. It's 5 kilometers long. It's a long old way, and it finishes only 2 kilometers from the finish, and that means a fast time on here is key. So you can see we've just hit segment 7 for that chasing pack as they come through at 28k, 33k, 5ks later. We'll get a split time for that segment. That leaves us our final 2 kilometers. Don't be fooled by the graphics. It's not downhill. It's got a right old kick on the way up as well, because that is going to test our riders. 935 meters of climbing in total today, really hilly, and at the moment leader sits at 553 kilometers of climbing. It shows you that we still have plenty more ascent to go. So Gilson, Hernandez, Sanchez, the top 3. Gilson leading nice and smooth, 86 revs per minute, 180 beats per minute. So working hard now, looking to consolidate this. She knows if she gets caught, she's not likely to have anything left to go chasing after anybody in front. Then behind are 2 riders on the left of your screen, Julie Sanchez and Natalie Hernandez. Sanchez has been regularly the fastest of our second category riders, regularly in the top 10 overall, currently sitting inside the top 3 with Hernandez, her teammate, Both of them giving away time, though, to Gilson on the right of your screen. And the riders now almost a full straight and bend, if not too clear, of the chasing pack behind. That pack behind is also splitting up, losing riders. So I think the pace and the pressure of chasing our race leaders is starting to take its toll. So Rebecca Gilson leading the chasing pack. Well, there are 4 riders in the Karup Kavedo group. I think we'll try and get a deeper look into that group very shortly with a bit of luck, and that will give us a good view of who is doing what. Conan on the front of the pack, on the front here. Behind her, the gaps are opening, and it looks to me like that group has split. It has indeed. Look at that. There are only 5 riders left in the chasing pack. Conan, Paramoy, Black, and Kavedo. Now, Ellen Johnson has gone backwards. Luz Kimona has gone backwards here as well. That is telling because it shows the pressure is on. Conan now maybe senses that she can start to chase down Sanchez and Hernandez. She maybe thinks 44 seconds, I can do that. That is an achievable target. We're coming up to 30k. We've still got 5k still to go. 5 kilometers of ascent still to go. This is going to test our riders. Gilson leading. She's hit 30k. She's 700 meters in front of Kokkonen. The 2 chasers are sandwiched in between. Gilson is looking good, though. Look at those revs. Still sitting at 90 revs per minute. She's spinning away up here. Really efficient, really using her lungs to maximum capacity here. That heart rate, it's in at 180. Look at the comparison to Sanchez at 142 beats per minute. And look at the rev difference, 56 from Sanchez. She's mullering around a monster gear there, pushing her way up. That's got to take some effort to keep that going. And that's why having the revs is key. If you can sit on the revs and use your lungs, you don't burn the muscles out quite as quick. You're reliant on your fitness. Fitness, you can train a lot easier than you can building muscle. Too much muscle, of course, you end up too heavy to go climb. These guys are astounding athletes. They know where their strengths are. They know where their weaknesses are. They're playing to those strengths because we are out racing on Sunday Race Club qualifier number 3. Sanchez and Hernandez both trying to close down the race leader in front. The 2 riders both in our second category team, the strong women's team, looking to close down. Rebecca Gilson, the individual rider, not riding in a team behind them. The chase is on, and it's Angie Parra who is leading that chase. Moy is just behind her, but again, those gaps open up as they go onto the flat sections and then go and kick up again. And I think Tracy Moy just going over the top of Parra there. Kavedo is still fighting with Novellin as well as a Black, but the distance has opened up now. Tracy Moy on the chase of Hernandez, on the chase of Sanchez, trying to close that gap down. But look at those numbers in the red box, right hand side of my screen. She's just got into the 7% marker. She's trying to close down on Sanchez and Hernandez, but the gap is not really coming down. It's yo-yoing, but I think the peaks and troughs are just getting a little bit closer together. That is going to make a difference. There's still plenty of distance left. Now, Gilson, 5k mark is really key in your head. You know you've got 5 to count down. Even I can count backwards from 5. She knows that she's now coming up with 4k to go. 31 kilometers covered for Gilson. Now, the counting skills are going to be better, but I've not had to climb this mountain. I've not got my heart rate sitting at 181. I'm not trying to keep the revs up there, keep that power down, having raced for nearly an hour, sitting at 20 kilometers an hour, still going up this climb. She's going to come over this crest, and every time that the course levels out, that turbo trainer will be releasing the brakes. It's going to be letting Gilson accelerate up. It's then going to be clamping back down again as she comes into this next ascent. It's going to be slowing her down, having to put more force back in. 9.2%, 9.3% of its peak on that little ramp there. Every time it releases, you let's go to jelly. Every time it clamps down, you're having to force it back over again. You can just see Gilson there revving over the top of the hill at 100 revs per minute. So really is letting it pick up, not changing gear too much here, I don't think, as she goes through. Just one or two flicks of the gear lever going up and down. Gilson leading through behind Sanchez now onto this 8.3 part of the course, just pushing up. And Sanchez now has got a gap on Hernandez, her teammate. So Julie Sanchez, the rider who has been our fastest rider in the second category racing in qualifier 1 and 2, has left her teammate. And that is Hernandez, who is further back here. Angie Parrott is chasing, but Hernandez now has a work cut out. She's got to stay clear of Parra. The team here could be in with a chance of taking away the top 3 riders. Hernandez, Sanchez, and Parra are all teammates. So at the moment, the strong women's team are Julie Sanchez, Natalie Hernandez, and Angie Parra. They are in second, third, and fourth position at the moment, and this should give them the fastest team in the race. Can they pull back Gilson? Don't think so. This is going to be a massive ask for Julie to do. However, they need to hold on to those positions. You've got Kekkonen, you've got Moy, you've got Black, not all that far behind. So Kekkonen sandwiched between Parra and Hernandez at the moment. But Parra is not giving it up here. Quevedo's coming as well now. Is this where Quevedo has got her timing right? Can Karuk close down? Can she stay in the heels of them? Is she looking to attack, or is she just hanging on for grim death at the back? My usual position in any bike race, hanging on to the bars and holding on for grim death. Well, one rider who is not going to be holding on for grim death, it is Gilson. She's still absolutely motoring up here. Kick it out to 100 plus watts non-stop all the way up, over 90 revs per minute. I've seen another 100 revs per minute go through. She's at 188 beats per minute. Now that heart rate is moving up. It's heading up towards that 190 mark. If she gets it right, she'll hit a maximum heart rate she can achieve at all as she goes up and in and through the line. She's looking to put the maximum time in, but at what point is she going to ease off and think, I've done enough, I can now get over the line? She is at 2.6k to go, and that is a dangerous move to do so. We've seen people get closed down by phenomenal performances by those chasers. At the moment, she has 46 seconds to Julie Sanchez. She's over a minute back to Hernandez, and Quevedo and co also chasing hard, but not able to pull that gap back down. So the second place rider is a rider on the left of your screen, Julie Sanchez for the strong women's squad. She should be leading them home for team victory. She would dearly love to be coming in for overall victory. The rider she has to catch, Rebecca Gilson in the yellow, the fastest rider on the course, one of the very few first category riders left at the front, at the pointy end of the race. Well, she is right at the tip of the peloton at the moment, the tip of the action. She is so sharp. I think she's going to slice the tarmac open because she is moving very quickly indeed. It's 81 revs per minute. She goes on to this steeper section once again. She knows she's now coming up with 2.2k to get into the finish. She'll be ticking those kilometers off. And now we have this slight little dip. This makes life very hard because it's just going to break up that rhythm. But Gilson seems to have this absolutely down. We're going to get her time through segment 7, our final segment. 5 kilometers from 28 to this checkpoint coming up here. And that is at 33k. So through she goes. The time, 11 minutes 47. And this is all on the climb. It's we were into the climb when it started. We'd been into the climb by about 1.5 kilometers when it started. One rider through the segment finish 11:47, and this is where you can see just how long that gap is. Gilson continues to push on, continues to try and open up the gap. So Rebecca Gilson being chased by Julie Sanchez. Sanchez staying clear of a teammate, Hernandez. Hernandez only 4 seconds clear of Moy at the most at the moment, and I think that third place position is in real imminent danger of being chased down and closed down. So Gilson cleared the front of 33.4. Sanchez coming up to the checkpoint. She's about to hit 33 kilometers. You'll see the difference in time up here because we've seen Gilson continue to open up the gap. So Julie Sanchez pushes in second place in the race overall. Her time, the second fastest so far. She's 33.491 seconds down there. That's a phenomenal time by Gilson, and it's shown by the time gap between her and Sanchez. Remember, Sanchez has rocketed clear of Hernandez and has put in a great ride to get into second place, but Gilson's time is looking even more phenomenal now. She's come up through the time. Now Hernandez comes through. She is in third place at the moment. She's got a gap on Moy and Cavedo. She's got to continue to hold that gap. She will want to come in the top three. She'll want a podium position. She comes through at 1 minute and 12 down on our leader. So your top three at the end of that segment are the top three on the road as well. Gilson, Sanchez, and Hernandez in that order. And you can see Gilson at the moment, the rider who's leading this out. She's up into the tunnel section. This is not consistent gradient. This has got a kick halfway through it. As you come up and out of the tunnels, it then levels once again. So at the moment, Rebecca Gilson leading the race now with nearly a 1 minute gap to Julie Sanchez in second place as we see Moy come through and Moy closing down. Look at the time difference, 52 seconds for Moy through that 5K segment. She was nearly 20 seconds quicker than Para going through there. But more importantly, she was 20 seconds faster than Hernandez. That's the gap she's closed down up to that point. Tracy Moy is the rider who potentially could take out the rider Hernandez from third spot. So our 8 riders in and through. Our leader, Gilson, absolutely flying at the moment up this course. She's now in to her last 800 meters, and this is where she really can take time to celebrate. She's over 1 minute back to Julie Sanchez. The hill is a steep one. It's got a nasty little kicker before she gets into the line, but Rebecca Gilson won't care about that. It is going to be another great ride by Gilson. Qualifier number 2 last week. She got on the podium. She was in third place. Today, she took 2 riders clear with her with a constant attacking. Hassan Hernandez and Sanchez were with her, but Rebecca Gilson, now with 500 meters to go, knows that today is going to be her day. She's going to take a race victory here today unless there is a major incident between now and the finish. She can't go off course like we saw riders like Robert Miller do on the climb, so the stage finishes to lose the stage, but you can get dropouts, and we don't want that to happen. So come on, Rebecca, this is it. Hold it together. Only a few more 100 meters to go, 300 meters. If Avatars could smile, that smile would be beaming across her face at the moment. She knows she doesn't need to absolutely destroy herself. Her heart rate has dropped down from the 188, 190 marker down to 158, a surefire sign that she's now enjoying every single second of this as she comes in to the finishes at 34.9, less than 100 meters to go for Rebecca Gilson. She's put down a marker today. What will she do come the finals next week? Rebecca Gilson, the rider who was third in qualifier number 2, is coming in to the finish on Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh. And women's qualifier number 3 is going to see victory going to Rebecca Gilson, our fastest rider on the course. The constant attacking paying off for Gilson as she comes in. She's going to stop the clock as she goes in and across the line with that fastest time of the day. She was phenomenally quick up the climb. She was aggressive on all of the sprints, and she comes through to finish her race in 1 hour and 6 minutes 34. Well, next rider out on the course is Julie Sanchez. So Sanchez in second place, in her familiar place of being the fastest second category rider. But more importantly, she's our second rider on the road today. The second category riders have absolutely smashed it and handed it out to all but one of the first category riders. And Sanchez showing just why she is such a strong rider for her team. She's going to lead them home. It should be for the team prize overall, as Julie Sanchez of the strong women's team comes in to take second place. Second category rider through, second place in the race overall. Julie Sanchez with a phenomenal ride here today. She's going to be followed into the line by her teammate, Natalie Hernandez, with a phenomenal ride. The strong women's counter number 2 is going to come in to the finish. She's done an amazing ride here today. She's going to take away third place, second counter for the team. She's held off the chase here by Quevedo. Quevedo sprinting to come in towards the line. She almost caught her back, but it is going to be Karut Quevedo, second of our first category riders, fourth rider in and across the line. And it shows you what a ride was done by Gilson in that first category rider. So Quevedo 1 minute 38.9 down behind Tracy Moy with a great ride to come in. Then it's going to be Kokoden. So Moy putting in a fantastic race. Again, really hammering up that climb, chased by Noble and Kokoden. Then it's going to be Angie Parrott, and Parrott is going to complete the standings, I think, here for the strong women's team. This means they should take away top spot. We've yet to see it come up on the switch. Here it comes. So it is Angie Parrott who comes through the strong women's squad with second, third, and what is a seventh place. What a result for the strong women's squad. They have absolutely smashed the team competition here today. They join Gilson in taking a win here today. Great riding by all of our riders. Our second category riders doing an amazing job here. Madison Black, a rider who came through those 1K splits time and time again, putting in the fastest time. Final sprint from Madison as she comes into the finish here. So Madison Black is going to come through. She's going to take 8th place, a top 10 here at qualifier number 3 for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Great riding by Madison as she comes in and through the line. The Abu Dhabi squad rider comes through, and look at that heart rate, 191 heart rate, 164 average across the ratio. She was working really hard there. So Gilson, Sanchez, and Hernandez, your 1, 2, 3. Sanchez, Hernandez, and Parra leading the team competition for the strong women's team. Finishing on top of the mountain, Gilson coming home in 1 hour 6 minutes 34. The riders are chasing well. Catherine Fuhr, one of our real regular riders, a really great rider to watch in action. A rider who has been up and challenging for those race victories on top of the mountain. He's going to come through. But look at this. It looks to me like Johnson and Kimona are wanting to round out. They're going to take, I think, second team. If Johnson's teammates, Bogren and Freeborg, can continue to hammer this home, Fuhr is pushing hard, but I think it's going to be Elena Jonsson who comes through. So Jonsson's going to hit the line. She's going to come through, followed by Fuhr and Kimona. So they come in and across the line. Fuhr's going to take 10th place. It's going to be Kimona in 11th place. The second team is going to be up for grabs here, and the Swedish team are pushing hard. Bogren was trying to chase down the gap as well. So this is going to be really interesting to see them come through. We have Gilson home in 1:06:34, but look how close it was between Johnson, Fuhr, and Kimona. Absolutely nailing this in. Don't forget that we will have all of the results from all of our first, second, and third category riders on MyWhoosh.com. Don't forget to make sure you subscribe to the MyWhoosh channel. Our Swedish riders on the climb, their times will be logged. You'll be able to pick up those results. Whilst you're online, don't forget, of course, you can follow MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook as MyWhoosh. You can follow us on Twitter, my_whoosh. You can catch up with me, that's Matt Fixpaid, on Facebook, on Strava, as well as on MyWhoosh. We're going to be bringing you those finals next week here. I'm really looking forward to see who is going to take away the prize money in June. It's going to be great racing in our men's and women's competitions. Thank you to all of our riders. Thank you to all of the team back in the studio. From me and Matt Payne, stay safe. We'll see you next week for the finals. Shuvkum, ala khair.